When you or your family member are in a personal crisis, you're celebrating milestones, achievements, or successes, what do you need most? When you're sick, you're struggling, or you're awaiting departure. Maybe you're in pain, you're scared, you're feeling lost. What do you need the most? When you're buried, your closest friends and family are in such pain, such turmoil, unable to focus or function. What do you wish they had the most? I'm talking about community. No matter your situation, whether it's good or bad, you can endure so much more when you're surrounded and supported by community. A group of people who will roll up their sleeves and do whatever needs to be done and expect nothing in return. They modify their schedules, call on others in the community, inconvenience themselves, call out favors, change their plans, and dig in without complaint. They work with others even if they don't share personal values. And when it comes to celebrations and milestones, they have fun. And why do they do this? Because this is what community does. They pull together despite differences and get stuff done. They do it because it feels good, because they get satisfaction from making a difference. And their children learn from seeing them do it. And most importantly, they feel a sense of belonging, like part of something bigger. Does this sound familiar? Is this happening today? Sure, in some places. But in my experience, it's been really hard to find. Back in the day, we used to find this situation of interaction and engagement in our churches. Today, many of us don't go to church. We go to work, we hustle all day, pick up the kids, make dinner, drive our kids to activities, come home, clean up, put the kids to bed, and likely check out some Facebook posts or some mindless TV. We spend our days comparing and competing with others, never feeling quite adequate, always wishing for more, and it's not usually until we hit a crisis that we wake up and realize how badly our lives are lacking meaning. My name is Heather Cabral, and I'm the founder of the Social Beehive. I want to tell you how and why it's my mission to inspire a cultural revolution of community, caring, and connection. In 2006, my life took me on an unexpected journey. My husband and I were blessed with children, twins who came into the world not like many typical births, more like a 747 in a foggy, snowy, rainy, hurricane-forecasted day. It was like the pilot couldn't see the runway, but was landing anyway, and without gear down. As the plane touched down, the metal on the fuselage was just ripping and tearing back like a sardine can. This was my experience of becoming a mother. Evan and Ethan were born with significant life-threatening heart and lung issues. Their diagnosis had them very susceptible to chronic pneumonia, chronic hospitalizations, ear and sinus infections, probable hearing loss, and possible lung transplants. And that was just their lungs. After the shock wore off, we decided very early that this would not be a fate for our boys. After a 6-week stay in hospital, the boys came home with large oxygen tanks, a schedule of trips to sick kids in Toronto, a care plan that required physical breathing therapy every 4 to 6 hours. We avoided gatherings. As part of our care plan, we decided it was best to avoid playgroups, libraries, and anywhere there might be somebody sick. At doctor's appointments, we'd wait outside in the car until a room was ready for us. In the winters, we were isolated, always on high alert for coughs and sneezes, even in the summer. What we needed most was community. Unfortunately, the friends we knew were no longer there, and most of our family members were not supportive of our new lifestyle. Life was nothing what I expected. It was exhausting, labor-intensive, lonely, and yet full of gratitude and ideas, business ideas. It seemed like the isolation was good for something. When I had a spare moment, like nap time, I would spend my time crafting business ideas based on my big picture view of the world. This was not something I had ever done before kids. I'd always worked outside the home in the non-for-profit and for-profit organizations. So I started channeling business ideas. After creating a few different things like an online grocery delivery company, online wedding dress consignment store, and various others, I started focusing on how I could make lives easier, recognizing even back then that technology was changing how we were marketing businesses and how consumers find services. I recognized it always came back to relationships and community. After 5 years of this constant fear and just 1 2-week hospitalization, we seemingly defied the diagnosis. So we sent the boys off to school. And it was like at this point where I felt like our life was to begin. We were finally able to go out to dinner parties, attend family weddings, birthday parties, and other fun events. We were now able to do all those things that most people take for granted. What we really wanted to do was meet new people, but where? Technology, even back then, was changing how and where we were doing that. We were different people. After the last 5 years, we live our lives with such gratitude. We had a newfound strength and faith, a desire for meaning and purpose, and really wanted a community of like-minded people who wanted to get together, have some fun, have some meaningful conversation, and make a difference at the same time. Throughout the early journey, we didn't have much of an extended support system, except paid workers. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the family and friends that we had basically fell off the earth. We didn't even have friends for neighbors besides a wave here or there. Even a heartfelt invitation couldn't bring these people out of their houses. An open house actually yielded no responses and no visitors. When the boys started school, I thought this was going to change our situation. This was not what I experienced. As we all waited in the asphalt behind the school for our kids to come out, I found myself observing the very tight grips. Not even eye contact, or a smile, or a hello. For a whole school year, every day, it was just me and a few of the other outcast moms. Sure, I could have tried to infiltrate their posse, but it didn't feel right or authentic. I guess I just expected that people would be warm and inviting. At the same time, I was recognizing my self-consciousness, my social ineptness, the lack of confidence, and the belief that I didn't really have anything of value to talk about anyway. After a series of conversations and finally a recognition that I do have some interesting things to share, I was led to create the Social Beehive. The hive where you can be connected, be inspired, and be involved. At this point, I had no idea what I was creating, but I felt motivated and propelled by something to invest time and resources in the process. So I would keep writing and flip charting and post-it noting and reading and whiteboarding the ideas that were randomly channeling into my brain. Sometimes they were even blurted out at Dennis, my husband, in the kitchen randomly. As we'd stand there, his eyes wide open. He had become quite accustomed to my extroverted introvertedness. I would usually start with, I had an idea. I didn't really. And then out it would come. And I would usually finish with, wow, that's a really good idea. During the early process of building the Beehive puzzle, I was recognizing what was happening in society. I couldn't be the only one seeking a community of like-minded people who wanted meaningful conversation and to live mindfully in the name of fun and assistance to others. But it had to start with a conversation, a place and a time. And it had to be easy and not too painful. So I created the Beehive Gathering Kit, a printable manual that has everything you need to host a gathering in your home. Not just any gathering, a gathering that has the host sharing a special skill, knowledge, memory, or story. Its purpose was to get us connected, first with our own value. The idea is to help people connect with one another, not in an awkward, small talk kind of way, but in a way that's more organic in nature. They might share a special skill or memory or moment or courage or teach something. It's really very personal. After the host does their presentation, we all enjoy tea and connect, likely with relaxed conversation around their topic. This would happen every 3 to 4 weeks or whatever the group decided. The next time, it would be hosted at another home. My vision was that it would grow and eventually a team or community of like-minded people would form. And this would be happening all over the city. And then these groups would start doing meaningful things together and not only gather for social exchange, but for social purpose as well. Eventually, the gathering communities would join together and this would form the social beehive. Unfortunately, I never had the courage to release this program. And after 4 years in that neighborhood, we moved out of the city. Oh, the irony on moving day. One of the neighbors came over to wish us luck and expressed disappointment that we never got together. He wished we were like other streets who gathered and had fun. Me too, Dave, me too. The third piece of my business building puzzle, was recognizing the state of many not-for-profits, organized and non-organized and cause-centered organizations, competing for dollars and attention as they work tirelessly, wearing many hats and with limited resources. Many devoting their own time and money because of their commitment to the cause, which was likely personal. They needed to be connected to volunteers, get assistance building their community as they raise awareness and resources for their cause. They need help with fundraising. How do they do that without a community or an engaged audience? When they do have monetary resources, they need to know when and which businesses will deliver what they say they will. Businesses who aren't just about the bottom line. Businesses who care about being a force for good. Businesses who are interested in giving their time and resources for the betterment of their community. But this is not just a problem that many not-for-profits have. As busy parents, as business owners or organizations with limited resources, how do we find businesses who care about their customers and community? So in my hard drive folder under business plans, I have the business piece where I assist business owners with marketing their businesses, a directory, if you will, that people or other businesses or not-for-profits can access, a directory with reviews and ratings, a plan that helps businesses promote, collaborate, and meet people naturally. I have an engaged community who wants to work together, have fun, and make a difference, and I have a plan to gather grassroots causes and missions or not-for-profits to raise awareness and resources. I have this huge epiphany moment. As I'm looking at my whiteboard standing in my office, eureka! I have created this model that has people and businesses working together to raise awareness and resources for charitable initiatives.